the home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads.
Ooh. Oh, snap. Damn. Finally, me and Nick Saban can get back on the same page somewhat. Now, there are some things he said yesterday about this whole NIL thing that I slightly disagree with, but for the most part, damn, getting some of that fire back, Nicky. That was pretty damn awesome. He called out not only Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher, but he called out the man that I've been saying is a con man all along, Deion Sanders. Let's talk about it. Well. What do we have here? It's another episode of The Outlaw of College Football. That's me, the OCF JPC. And today, class, oh man, I've been waiting to get to this. I've been itching to it. Had to run down to the local junior college and pick up my daughter's books. We just couldn't wait, man. I had that engine purring down through there on Highway 69 here in Tuscaloosa just to get here and get to this topic. Damn. But before we get to all this good, juicy, just basically, it's almost like, I don't know, some Jerry Springer college football shit. But before we get to all that, I'd like to ask you guys and gals, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And also, if you look down below this video over there by the download option, there's a little heart that says thanks. Click on that little heart, donate to the show, and that way I don't have to depend on YouTube as much. Now, getting right to it. This is some juicy stuff. Old Nick Saban got on there. They were interviewing him and talking to him about the whole NIL situation. He basically laid it out there on the line. How normally coaches will haul around. He did it first, but if you get on into the video about the 4 or 5 minute mark, he says, and he calls them out by name, Texas A&M's #1 recruiting class basically was bought. And he said as such. And he said the only difference between him and other universities in Texas A&M is the fact that they're doing it the legal way. They're getting players to come in and letting them find their own NIL agreements, getting their own sports agents. Nobody's helping them with it. They're making their own way, which is what you should do. You should be your own man and not have shit just given to you as a handout. But he was saying that Texas A&M did something, I think the terminology used was a collective, which to me, from what I gather and the way he used it in the sentence, is a nice way of saying that they were funneling money illegally in a not so nice, not following the rule kind of way. Now, does that surprise you, Nick? No, it shouldn't. But I do have one issue with it. And that is you saying that, we don't play players at Alabama. We do, and we have paid players at Alabama, Nick. It's just they're better probably at funneling it than other colleges like Texas A&M. Texas A&M thought with the NIL thing that everything was on the table. Therefore, they thought it was okay to do what they did. And I can understand that. I mean, because there was really no parameter set by the NCAA. And I usually blame the NCAA for a lot of stuff, just like my podcast partner, Jonathan Lewis. But Nick made a lot of sense. And when he said that the NCAA gets blamed for a lot of this, but in reality, it's not the NCAA's fault, because every time they try to clamp down on these teams, they get hit with a lawsuit or litigation. And he said we're going to have to come up with some way as a whole, as universities in this organization as a whole, we're going to have to come up with some kind of wording or lingo or contract that basically everybody signs that's in the NCAA that says they will not sue the NCAA if they get hit with penalties for whatever reason, whether it's cheating or doing whatever it is that's outside the rules that the NCAA have set. Now, the other thing that was really juicy, I didn't expect. It's like one of them chair shots from the Deep South, one of them Deep South wrestling matches. Oh! That's Deion Sanders, boy. And his little Affleck piss-poor commercials that they give him to latch on to Saban to give him that push that he never deserved. That's him in the Affleck ring, and Nick Saban nails him with a chair. Because Nick Saban said that Deion and Jackson State paid a player like $4 million or $400,000. I think it was $400,000. But it was a lot of money. And Deion and them paid one player for that. Now, why would Saban just come out and say that shit if it wasn't true, Deion? I mean, he's in front of everybody. I mean, it's true that people just lie to lie sometimes. And Nick Saban is a bit hypocritical here lately, these last couple of years, in my opinion. He placates and patronizes a lot of people. He's my head coach, but he's bad about that shit. But I really enjoy this because I done a video a while back. Y'all can go check it out. It's back in December. It's about Deion being a con man, trying to act like he cares about the historically black colleges getting players and whatnot. And he really doesn't. He does it for attention because he's an attention whore. Because Deion didn't go to a historically black college. So for him to be preaching all the stuff he's preaching is slightly hypocritical once again, and it makes me think he's a con man. They get these kids in a room, these 18-year-old kids and these parents, some of them not well versed in these matters, and they use their fame and their stature in football to basically, I wouldn't say intimidate, but they basically use it to influence these kids, as people will call them. They're not really kids, they're young men. But they haven't been around as long as Deion and all these other famous players that he's getting in tow to basically, in my opinion, con them and not give them the whole full story and what they're getting into by passing up an opportunity to play for an Ohio State, a Notre Dame, an Alabama, an Oklahoma. There's a lot they're passing up, and he don't let them in on that, in my opinion. He might say he does, but I don't think he does. So, Nick Saban has basically laid down the gauntlet and called out Texas A&M, which is Jimbo Fisher's team. So he's calling out Jimbo Fisher as well. And as you know, Jimbo lost his damn noodle about this a while back. And now we know why, because Nick Saban obviously probably said this in passing to some people, or may have even said it to Jimbo over the phone or something. So Jimbo probably knew this shit was coming. That's why he lost his noodle. But they're about to make some rules to try to curb some of this. But like Nick Saban said, all this time we've been giving the NCAA hell about not doing their job and stuff. If they're going to get sued every time they try to do their job by the people that run these universities, some people that we know, some people that may be our friends, then we can't really blame the NCAA for this being a Wild West show if we're not going to back them up. We've got to back them up with some terminologies and some worded contracts and whatnot, make all these universities sign these contracts. But I don't know, you guys and gals tell me, what do you think? You think that Nick's being overly hypocritical or just slightly hypocritical, and that a lot of the stuff he said holds a lot of weight? Do you think Deion is a con man, like I said? And do you think that they paid a player $400,000 or whatever it is they paid him? Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I want your blunt, full, unthrottled comments. Because I just never expected Nick Saban to do this. Normally he'll beat around the bush a little bit and said that team that was ranked number one. He won't really specifically name them, but he came out and said Texas A&M bought their number one class. And Deion bought the couple of players that he got that he shouldn't have got. I think it's safe to say there won't be no more Affleck commercials between Nick Saban and Deion for quite some time, because today Deion Sanders come out and basically called Saban a liar. Didn't mince words, just called him a liar. I just can't see that, though. As much hell I've been giving Nick Saban about some of the political shit he's been doing, this sounded pretty genuine to me. So, in my opinion, I think that Nick Saban basically nailed these guys. Basically outed them. Maybe you call that being a snitch. I don't know. Let me know. And that's it for me today. Class is now officially dismissed.